Welcome aboard, everyone. It is the Virtual Collage Jam for November 15th, 2021, on the topic of etymology or entomology. It's a mouthful. Why did I do that? So, welcome aboard.
Sorry.
That would be Kim joining the stream. And who's Kim, you might ask? Well, Kim is my trusty life partner, and artist in crime. Sidekick who manages the chat. Say hello, Kim.
Hello, Kim.
That sounds like something I would say, which I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing. Anyway, so for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I hope there's someone out there who is. Virtual Collage Jam started shortly after the first lockdown during COVID in March 2020, last year, and is a way for artists to get together in virtual company to collage, talk, connect, break down the loneliness of being locked down at home. And as we are hopefully, knock wood, continuing to progress out of the needs for lockdowns, it's just too much fun not to keep doing. So that's why we're doing it. So welcome aboard again. I've said that 3 times, so I think maybe
you can stop saying it now.
I think that probably covers it, right? So before we get down to some collaging, I have some news for you. First of all, a bunch of you guys have been asking me via email, etc., about the Gladstone event, which is on November 29th, our next jam. I am going to be sending out an email probably tomorrow. I'm just getting the details nailed down with Gladstone. So we will have a live event the same time, but you can, for 12 lucky participants, the first responders to my email when it goes out, which will probably be tomorrow, can join me in person at the Gladstone Hotel in their swanky new basement studio. It's a basement studio, but it's quite nice. Like, their basement is not a grotty basement, as you can imagine. It's a very nice, anything but. So and
it's a brand new studio.
Yeah, so that will be at 2 p.m. and there's going to be the curator Lee Petrie is going to give the group a little tour ahead of time. Private tour of the renovations with and brief talk about some of the public art, including one by yours truly. Kim will be there, and they have a lovely bistro, which we'll encourage you to have lunch at beforehand. Which is it's beautiful, it's airy, it's a little pricey, but it's definitely worth it for like the food is really great. So what else? So that's that. So watch your email for that coming up shortly. And guess what came in the mail today, like an hour and a half before I went live? Woohoo!
Yay! So exciting.
Collage Magazine number 34.
Featuring
Cherie Ricola's article about our Collage Jam.
That's right.
Showing up. Gotta go a little higher.
Higher
still.
Well, I'm on a delay, so I can't be sure.
So
yeah, a little higher, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So they definitely gave me a nice pride of place position there with my collage. But on the next spread, we have collage work by Mira Martinez, Jane Laster Gordon, Cherie Ricola, and Lisa Kemp. Congratulations, guys. And I'm sure there's mention of several other people in there. And it's so exciting. Thank you, Cherie, for writing the article, for instigating it, for following through, dealing with everyone. It's really, I'm a one-man operation, 1.5, because Kim gives me some of her time, as you know, for many different things. We help each other as much as we can, but there's only so much we can do until we have our team of assistants. So that Cherie took on writing it, asked me questions, basically interviewed me via email, etc. Did all the legwork on that. Thank you. So we're famous, guys. Yeah. So I'm going to switch the camera overhead and see what I can come up with for etymology and entomology. And while I'm doing that, you might want to look away just briefly while I do the seasick making camera move. Or actually I could put the lid down for a second. Anyway, and while I do that, Kim will update me as to what you're chatting about. I can see we've got some people there, so.
We do.
Yeah.
So the first one to say hi was Val.
Hello.
Whoa, that was.
Hopefully the
sudden.
camera's still working.
It's black now.
It is.
Oh,
yeah. I put the lid down. So.
Yeah. So get the lid.
There we go. I tell you, we're high tech.
There
dropping the camera and everything.
There we are. Okay. So, boy, that was a bit of a.
Yeah. Sorry for that.
And Nellie is here with us from Jordan.
Wow.
That is definitely the farthest flung.
We've never had anyone joining us from halfway around the world like that, Nellie.
Fabulous.
That's great. Hey, how are you? Welcome. Hi from Canada.
What time is it in Jordan?
It must be I'm
trying to imagine. So is it late?
It's
in the evening for you?
It's got to be like 8 hours ahead of us, I think.
And Judith Yuko says hi from Soggy Nanaimo.
Woo! All right, look at this. We're like spanning the globe. I'm loving it. That's great. Because BC to Jordan, that's a pretty big spread.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. That's great. Val says she still hasn't got her collage number 34 yet. So anyway.
It literally just arrived. Like Kim was like, hey, it arrived. And I said, talk about perfect timing.
You can expect it soon, I'm sure.
Yes, exactly.
And when you shared, of course, you had just shared the magazine. That's why Val said that. So Nellie added, oh, wow. And Ricky said, fantastic. Big congrats.
Oh, thank you, Ricky. Yes, it's really, it's so exciting. Yeah.
And Rebecca is with us.
Hello, Rebecca.
I don't know if you missed the Kal sharing the Collage magazine article because our Collage magazine arrived, but you can catch it in.
I've moved the spot. But,
well, of course you have.
All right. But there we are.
Excellent. And Nellie says it's, boy, it looks nice, doesn't it?
It does.
That's not what Nellie says.
It's because we have such great collage artists in our
exactly.
that it looks so great.
It makes the event look fabulous.
Exactly.
And of course, if they'd had more pages available in their magazine, we could have gotten more participants' artworks in. But thank you so much to everyone who submitted work.
I did solicit work from most of the regulars, and unfortunately, space being what it was, I sent them a longer list than that, and they chose, which is also nice because I would hate to. I narrowed it down to like 15, and it was painful. Like I don't want to let this one go. I don't want to let this one go.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah,
I was glad to be able to hand it over to them and say, okay, here's a long list. You guys choose.
They can choose it for editorial reasons. Yeah,
exactly.
So, Nellie says it's 9 p.m. there.
Right. Yes.
And says, miss you. Aw, that's
likewise.
So nice, Nellie. Yeah, likewise. Cherie's here.
Yay. Hey, Cherie.
And she writes, Yahoo! I've been waiting by the door for my issue.
Has yours arrived yet, Cherie?
I think she's still waiting by the door.
Yeah.
And she said, what a welcome spread. Yeah, really, right? Yeah. It's so great that they put a full page image in the opening spread because it will have so much more impact for the readers who are unfamiliar with the event. And that happens to be one of my favorites of Kal's collages. So I'm delighted to see that as the feature.
Something that's nice is it's two spreads, so 4 pages.
Yeah.
And it's not just a little side mention in a department.
Yeah.
Which, you can often have like an area where like roundup of news from around the world.
Yeah.
Collage magazine is it's out of Montreal, so it's like a Canadian success story, but I don't know whether it's like the preeminent, but it's definitely a big player in collage art publication. And they publish books about collage. They organize events. They organize World Collage Day. So
and they keep people informed about all
Yeah.
the events going on around the world.
and they have a really great website with lots and like artist profiles and all kinds of news about groups from around the world who are pursuing collage. So yeah.
Rebecca says, very cool. I did miss the first couple of minutes. So I'm glad Kal was able to share it under the overhead cam because it actually looked better.
That
That
of course
way.
it would.
It's
Yeah.
not as hard trying to get it
No.
centered on the camera.
No, exactly.
Cherie writes, I'm ordering copies for my family for Christmas. I think that's
That's
exactly
a great
the
idea.
thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What a great moment for you, Cherie.
Yep.
What a great undertaking. It was your idea to do it, and we're thrilled.
And Cherie, be sure to put that as a writing credit on your artist CV because
in publications,
yeah.
and you put author.
Yeah,
in,
exactly.
in
Because
brackets.
that's gold right there.
It is. It seriously is. Françoise is here.
Hey, Françoise.
Hi, Françoise. So hopefully you saw the Collage magazine article that Kal shared, but if not, you can catch it in the replay. And Judith says, congrats everyone on the recognition in the Collage Big League. What fine company to be in. I'm working on some small pieces to send to faraway places.
Oh, that's great. What as postcards, are they going to be as sort of mail art, Judith? Are you exchanging them with other artists or just sending them to friends you have around the world? Let us know because that's
I love the idea of traveling collages.
Yeah, I know, it's great. And I was thinking that, something that I've always wanted to pursue more is international connections. So it's something that I have on my radar. When the Gladstone opportunity came up, that's obviously a good one to deal with first, but probably in next year, I'm going to start reaching out to some other collage groups because Collage Magazine has a whole bunch of them listed. So wouldn't it be great to like do some sort of a collage exchange with a group from South America or Europe or or wherever. So
well, and something else we should think about is the idea of doing a collage mail art.
Yes.
A
call. Yeah, exactly. And then, and we could have an
online
exhibition.
Online and or in-person exhibition, depending.
Yeah.
The first one might be just online, but while we get used to the whole.
Well, and online is more manageable, right, too? So
yeah, but eventually we might want to do an in-person one once we sort of get a handle on the whole receiving submissions and
exactly. But no, actually that's a great idea
right?
Because start online because we have the eye to scan stuff and make it look reasonably professional. So we could definitely hold an online exhibition of some kind and put out a call on a theme and link it to Virtual Collage Jam, which is great, right? So it'll make more people aware. Maybe they'll join us. Anyway. Yeah. Hey.
I mean, considering that we have someone from Jordan and someone from BC today. And,
that's right.
And and Ricky was here, right?
That's right.
From the States.
It's Philadelphia, isn't it, Ricky? I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Jane has arrived.
Hey, Jane.
Jane, you are in the Collage Mag. Oh, Kal's going to pull it out again. You missed the beginning. Apologies to everyone who's seen it twice already. But
sorry, guys.
Kal's going to
It's too exciting.
Quickly show. There's the opening spread, Jane. And there is, you'll recognize one of those collages,
exactly.
Jane.
How exciting, eh?
Yeah. Susan, she had to accept a new mattress. It arrived at 2 p.m. Well, that's exciting. A new mattress. I hope it's great. Susan Abbott is here. Yay. She says, would love to participate in a collage exchange or mail art event. Well, awesome. Judith response to your request to know more. She says it's for an online group of friends in Canada, the USA, and Australia that she meets with every Saturday. We decided to do an exchange. It is fun for it is fun making for friends and getting real mail.
Yeah.
Yay to real mail,
Yeah.
eh? Yeah. I've been sending out my COVID summer art cards too slowly. I have a big list of people I want to send them to, and I've been squeezing it in between other things. But it's sort of my little pandemic mail art. Multiples. Ricky says, yes, I'm here. Yes, Philadelphia. Thanks, Ricky. And we're so glad you are here.
Yay.
Yeah. That's good. We had a lot of people arrived just a little late today.
Yeah, well, and that is the nature of a live stream. You can join it in progress. So,
yeah. Just today's full of all the excitement. Hopefully all of you received you're going to receive an email very soon about the live event.
Yeah.
So that you have that to look forward to.
Stay tuned for that. Yep.
Yep.
And why don't you let us know what your thoughts are for today's theme? I'm going to mash the two together in some way, but you may think, oh, bugs. No, I'm much more interested in the origin of words. So I'm going to stick with the etymology, or it might be the opposite. Like, oh, words don't do anything for me, but bugs. Or maybe you're like, and it's totally cool if you're like, no, I'm doing something else.
Something completely different.
Exactly. Which is why the themes are always optional.
Yeah. But it's nice to have a theme to even push against if need be.
Exactly. Actually, I think sometimes my most creative outputs are pushing against something. Like it's like, oh, I don't like that, but maybe is there a way I can make that more interesting to me or more relevant? Or
exactly. So
forge a connection to something.
I just want to put remind everyone who may be listening later, not just everyone who's here live, that the in-person event, we will be also live streaming. So it's okay if you are located away from Toronto or we fill up and you're unable to attend in person. We will still have the Virtual Collage Jam live stream.
Yes, absolutely. It's not a case of you come or miss out. It's just a case of,
we would hate that.
Yeah, no, that. And in fact, we're going to the tour we're going to of the Gladstone. Kim is going to film while it happens, and live stream that. So
if the live stream for that works, because
exactly.
I'll be moving and if Wi-Fi cuts out, the live stream will cut out, and then I'll have to start another live stream. It might be better for me to just film it and then for Kal to post it on his YouTube channel.
Right. Well, we'll see.
Because the Collage Jam itself will be stationary.
Yes.
It's not a problem to live stream.
And I figured that we don't. This is our planning.
We can talk about that later. Yeah,
exactly.
Because I've got to catch you up on the chat. So
please catch me up on the chat.
Jane says, wow, my head is too big. I just got an award for a piece hanging in the Nielsen Park Creative Center gallery.
Oh, congratulations, Jane.
For anyone who's not local to Toronto, that's one of the places Kal and I have taught.
Yep.
And it's in Etobicoke, which is a western part of Toronto. She says she placed 3rd out of 5, and it was a collage out of leather, suede, and denim.
Oh, yes. You were doing some of those collage, those
with
leather collages. And you said it was like it really upped to the ante when you had to cut through leather to make your collage. I remember that.
Sure. So on your question that you put out, Susan says, I tried to combine the etymology and the entomology in a piece about the butterfly effect. Oh, cool.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah. I just finished watching the series Heroes, 4 seasons.
Yeah, Kim was binge watching.
And one of them, Hiro Nakamura, is the master of time and space, and he's always having to worry about the butterfly effect. So that feels very
All right,
resonant right now.
You're gonna have to fill those of us like me and on what it is.
It's the
Has something to do with time.
Well, it's also about it. It's not just about time. It comes up in time travel narratives a lot, but the idea that very small actions can have huge repercussions. So,
oh, okay. So
a
it's
butterfly,
that idea, butterfly wing becomes a tornado kind of thing.
No, like a butterfly flies to this place rather than that place, and it sets in motion a cascade of events that you can't even believe are connected, but are.
Right.
And so I'm not expressing it terribly well, but if you've ever watched, there was an old BBC series called Connections with James somebody or other, I think, and you can watch it on YouTube, I think, or maybe the Knowledge Network.
Knowledge Network, that's it.
Out of BC.
It's like their TVO, and
and you can register and watch for free. Anyway, it's brilliant. It's now we used to watch it back in the 90s.
It's very old now, but it's still great.
The thinking is just genius, and it just shows how strange things are totally connected to each other. Anyway, Val says she's using Etymology, sort of.
Excellent.
Looking forward to seeing that, Val. Susan says, congratulations to Jane. Yeah,
absolutely.
Big congratulations, Jane.
Yeah,
what a day you're having.
A good day. Yeah, exactly. And an even better day when you get your collage.
Yeah, when you get the actual issue, you might want to buy extra. Oh, I better go answer that door, and then I'll catch you up on the rest of the chat.
Excellent.
Maybe that's our package.
That is the nature of these days, right? So much comes by deliveries. So I'm just I'm going a bit as usual. I'm just getting started with cutting something out because that's my favorite way to sort of gradually warm to a topic. So I've got this beautiful image of a dragonfly close up. I printed it out twice because I like it so much, one large and one smaller. And I'm thinking there's some sort of possible connection. These are etymological. I think I'm probably using the wrong word. Diagrams for like a root word from Indo-European early languages, and then sort of breaking them down. In fact, if it broke down globally, this would be like this one is like all English words along the bottom and how they've found their way through mostly Western, like Latin, French, Greek, to become common words. But yeah, if we took them into all the languages that
it affected,
Proto-Indo-European affected, this would be like
massive,
yeah, exactly. You'd have the English section, and then sections for all modern languages. So
that actually connects up, ironically, with what I was talking about earlier, which is this is about complex systems, right?
Yeah.
So something happens back in the days of Proto-Indo-European, and now it's had all these effects in all these different places in the world, and all, it's just one example of how extraordinary complex systems can be over time, especially. Well, I better catch you up on the chat here. Elaine Windsor is here.
Hey, Elaine. Welcome.
So glad you're here.
Yeah.
She writes, I'm combining the two ideas. I love the prompt and have already done two. Oh, I love
it. You guys, like who, arriving at the jam, having done like several already.
Jane adds, thanks for showing me Collage Mag. Now can't wait to get my issue. How did you get it so fast? It's just we subscribed and it just arrived today.
Yeah, I knew it was coming, and I also know that being out in the boonies where we are, it's very difficult to
find a newsstand
that would carry something that esoteric. Now that said,
well,
probably Chapters has
the Chapters near Oakville probably has it.
Yeah, but we don't get
but
out
we don't
much. We don't get out much.
No.
We didn't get out much before COVID,
except for work purposes.
Yeah. And now we get out even less.
Yeah. Françoise writes, working on the butterfly too, its etymology, and thinking about the butterfly effect also. Awesome, Françoise. Cool. I really look forward to seeing that.
That's fun.
Cherie writes, I took an anthropomorphic approach to entomology. Lots of big words for a little collage.
Yeah, I'll say.
Oh, that's good. Ricky writes, El Nino and El Neno? Question mark. Now, did that... Does that relate to the butterfly effect, or it doesn't relate to your words here? So, is El Nino also a weather pattern, Ricky? El Nino, I think, is unseasonably warm. Brings an unseasonably warm front, doesn't it? Or which may cause, actually, paradoxically, a lot more snow, depending on where it falls. That's my recollection, but feel free to clarify and correct me if I've just got that all wrong. Judith writes, our movements start ripple of events too. Yes, thank you, Judith. That's a much more elegant way of putting it about the butterfly effect. And I appreciate that contribution. Jane writes, I started something using words for etymology, but think it's lame, so working on homework for Thursday.
Probably best to get a good start on that, right?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can remember. Oh, right. You guys were doing a values-based collage, right? So, yeah.
It's another collage.
Yeah, exactly.
A portrait collage, right? You're doing the collage portraits now,
That's right.
That's fun. I love doing that. Rebecca writes, I've got 3 collages due for classes this week, so I'm working on those. I don't blame you. That sounds like a lot of work.
3 collages. Yikes. Yeah, you're taking another course from someone other than me, Rebecca. That's remarkable. I usually have the full slate with me, so.
You've just built her appetite up.
I think that's hey,
which is great. Not that she needed much help with building the appetite. No. She's got plenty inherent appetite. Jane writes, thank you guys for congrats. Definitely a good day. Aw, I'm so glad. It's good to have those days when you can really celebrate all you've done. Ricky writes, yes, I seem to recall El Nino and El Nina. Okay, El Nina. So there we go.
Yeah.
Connecting to the butterfly effect. Cool. Well, that would be very interesting to look up, actually. Rebecca adds, nope, all you. 2 for tomorrow, 1 for Thursday.
Yeah, see, she remembers her assignments.
Cal will only remember when he looks at his notes again.
Yeah, tonight when I'm like...
I'm like that too.
Yeah, reviewing. Okay, now what will we be looking at?
What?
Oh, right, I gave him 2. What? Yeah. What? That's really
what a meanie.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, dear. Val asks, are you doing the portrait collage course again? Wanted to do it, but didn't work out this time.
I may well do. I'm not positive. But I do like doing various spins on collage. So I've done travel by collage, which was people enjoyed quite a bit. And what else have I done that's collage based? Well, more to come.
Yeah,
more to come. Whether or not it's portraits,
it won't be immediately portraits again, because Kal will cycle through some of the other ideas, but it will definitely be offered again for sure.
Yes.
And when I teach it, it's one of the processes we use, along with some of the exercises are collage and some are other processes, because I'm usually teaching contemporary portraiture or experimental portraiture. So I know you will be interested in Kal's version
and your version.
I have had requests to teach contemporary portraiture again, though,
and
expressive portraiture. So
and are you thinking that might be a? I guess we're now.
I have to start thinking about 2022
and thinking about what and how much in-person teaching we're going to do, which will be an interesting question.
It's also, we sort of need to see how the winter goes, right, in terms of the pandemic. For committing, but a workshop, I know, for example, that at Nielsen Park and the member groups there are, and VAM, Visual Arts Mississauga, are all doing a mix of in-person and online courses. And I don't think I'd want to commit to a 8-week.
A long term, right? A long-term commitment.
Yeah, not just yet.
Yeah,
not until things feel more solidly stable, positive, stable, whatever. Nellie says, yes, Kim, portraiture in January. Count me in. You're back in the country in January, then, obviously.
Is that something you'd consider online?
It's a lot harder online because I can't control. It would have to be done differently because it would have to be. It could be. It could be done. Photo based. The problem. It's wonderful working with live models, but the problem doing it online is, if I can't control the pose and the lighting, and it's very difficult to do it remotely. It gets difficult to teach. So, because I don't want to have to spend tons of extra energy on that aspect of it, because I have limited energy resources, and it would mean, I feel like it would mean I would have less energy for the student experience of it, the learning experience of it. So, I seem to have to.
Well, what if I adopted several different persona and you used me as your model?
Well, yes, we could do that. And Elaine just added, so Kal will be your model. Well, so there's a possibility, everybody.
That's pretty funny. Faces of Kal.
That's right.
I'm not sure anyone's going to sign up for. If it were short enough, it might be.
You've got excellent bone structure, and we could light it so well, actually. Yeah, and I could get you to do some interesting angles.
I have done very little modeling, but I have definitely stepped in when Kim has needed a model upon occasion, and I actually enjoy it.
Yep.
It's
well, and he models for me. Not. I mean, I don't. We do photo shoots. I don't do enough of them because time, energy, etc.
All of those
setup. But it's pretty wonderful. There's a whole recent photo shoot that I haven't done anything with yet, but I certainly hope to plan to. Rebecca says students could take turns modeling. Yes, that's absolutely a very good possibility, especially with in-person courses. I have taken as well as taught courses where students contributed to the modeling. But the question with an online course would be the problem of lighting and camera. So, but in person, totally.
Yeah, I have, and you've probably taught courses where you've used each other for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
both
yeah,
for portrait and for hands and feet, mostly focused on the hands though.
Yeah.
when the students were modeling. Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, and I could model for one pose at least anyway.
Right.
Because for contrast to yours.
Yes.
Because
exactly.
I have the opposite kind of face. Why was I surprised that you were doing this really detailed cutting out of this? I don't know. I should know you and realize, of course, you're going to do that.
You shouldn't be surprised. I think we have to do that experimental portraiture online.
It'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Something, Kim and I like a challenge, and just like when we first started teaching online, it's like, how do you do this? And what are the, you sort of figure out as you go what the advantages are and how to exploit them and what the limitations are and how to minimize them.
The effect of that.
So that would just be another version of it.
Yeah. One of my most, in terms of the responses of the students who took it, one of my most popular workshops was the year before COVID. I think it was in May or something, a weekend workshop that was experimental portraiture. And I've had some people who took that have been asking me to repeat it. Every few months I get a little plaintive. So are you ever going to offer that again? Which is lovely. I've got to say, both Kal and I love that when we know what people really loved and would like to experience more of again, a variation on whatever, as well as new things. Yeah. It unfortunately, Nellie, it won't be in January because I am still grappling with this train wreck of a year on a personal level, and so I just don't have it in me for the winter term. But
perhaps spring.
Hoping in spring that I'll be able to offer a more than I'm able to manage right now. Elaine says, I've been doing dingy life drawing online. I was leery at first, but I really like it. The last pose is always a portrait, which is great fun. I agree the lighting can be an issue. Yeah.
I mean, that's something that as artists and instructors we're very aware of. So we, when we do, Kim's taught a lot more than I have, but when we teach figure or portrait in person, we try and make sure that the lighting is as good as it can be, because it makes a huge difference.
Lighting is essential to being able to see form as well as see details, right? Like features. Yeah. And if people, if the model doesn't have good lighting, doesn't know how to light themselves, and doesn't know how to pose for the camera, and I don't know which models do and which models don't, right? Then you also get awkward views.
Croppings, yeah, exactly. I want to see the feet,
And cameras distort, which can be fine, but can be really weird. Which can be fine too. So, there are all kinds of, there are pluses and minuses to all of it. Oh, she didn't know where the word dingy came from. So it wasn't necessarily a dingy life drawing class.
I just assumed you meant that you were
Yeah,
talking about the lighting.
Yeah, I
because
thought the lighting was dingy.
that it was
funny.
despite the dingy lighting, it was still worthwhile.
Yeah. So Cherie writes, I was in a life drawing class where the model didn't show up. Yes, that does happen from
Yeah.
time to time. The facilitator suggested we take turns modeling, and we all agreed. Then he took off his clothes. The response changed quickly. Yes, I bet it did. No one signed up for that, right? So he wasn't thinking very well there. Yeah. It's a very different thing to hire a professional model for a life drawing class to pose nude than to then ask a class who expected to be provided with a professional model to
Yeah, I
to
mean,
just
that's shockingly hard to believe.
Yeah,
because,
I'm especially these days. I'm shocked that anyone would do that, especially a male instructor.
Yeah, I mean, but anything, right? Like,
Seems very
as soon as the professional model hasn't shown up,
yeah.
it is a clothed session.
Yeah, like if people can wear tank tops or
it's
shorts
summer or whatever, exactly, and
great,
you can take
but
your
if
shoes
not,
off, right? But
yeah,
you know, like,
or something fitted, or
yeah, but period, you know.
Yeah, give everyone 10 minutes to maybe adjust their outfit to be suitable for modeling, and then yeah.
You know, there's
I think there are a few ways he could have handled that would have been better.
And in fact, the clothed figure is a fascinating topic, like, to figure out how the body and the affects the drape of clothing and the pull of clothing anyway. So
yeah,
there's no need for
oh, and there's so many bases on which to teach figure drawing anyway that I mean, one of my most popular courses that ran for a few years was costume model, which just means clothes model, and we were just dealing with artistic issues, painting the model. Nellie writes, it's fine anytime so long as you keep a place for me. Aw, Nellie, that's lovely. Thank you. I will endeavor to do that. Assuming, of course, you're in the country at the time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, Elaine writes, don't know where dingy. Cherie adds, not fair to call it a class, more of a group. Right. Well, yeah,
that should be then at the very least a discussion.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that clothes versus unclothed wasn't even brought up in the discussion about people modeling is just shocking, really. Jane says, I did a life drawing class at TSA and all models were clothed, scantily but clothed. Right.
Yeah.
And clothing can be so interesting. Like I did a series of photographs of myself pressed against plexiglass, and included not all of my body, not right down to my feet, but depending on the cropping of the photo that I used in any given artwork, it certainly went down to my hips, I think. And I wore a spaghetti strap, clingy tank top. And the contrast it was a black one, and my skin is pale and pinkish. And the contrast was fantastic. And the shape of that tank top was wonderful. So yeah, there's so many beautiful ways clothing can add to the figure. Jane, was that with Thomas, or who was your instructor for that life drawing class? Just out of curiosity, if you don't mind sharing. Thomas Henry is the legendary, one of the legendary, the legendary. I think there's another Tom Campbell as well who teaches figure there, or used to. Actually, that reminds me, I need to write back to TSA, they approached me about teaching because someone recommended me, which was awfully nice. Someone who'd taken a course of mine in Halliburton. So I must get back to them. Thanks for reminding me, Jane.
Little did she
Without
know.
even realizing it. Oh, yeah. You're getting close, eh? It's quite the cutting out session.
I don't even know why I'm doing this, but that is the nature
that's
of how
part of your process, though. I
part
think,
of warming
right?
up or figuring things out.
Exactly. Yes, Thomas Hendry. I'm the official reminder. Ask Kal.
Yes. Jane is the reminder of if I haven't sent out the prompt for Virtual Collage Jam, she's you guys all get the prompts because Jane has reminded me.
Bless you, Jane.
Not all of the time, but she's definitely done it on more than one occasion.
Great. Well, that's great.
I'm going to attempt to start scheduling them.
Yes. It's hard, one of the problems when it's just us doing everything for both of us, each of us, is it can get really hard to get ahead of the game on anything. You're just running to keep up with all the things you're supposed to do. And anyway, we're going to try bit by bit over the coming the next year, the year coming up, to get some systems in place and some schedules in place to help us manage that a little better.
That's pretty fun, isn't it?
Oh, I love that, the way those cuts look.
Yeah.
And when you move it, it's lovely,
it's
right?
great, isn't it?
Yeah, and those darks emerge.
It's very cool animation there, I think.
It is. Oh, there's something there for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it just occurred to me. That looks like a good basis for an idea for me to make a beating heart.
Wait, you have an idea about hearts?
Yeah, imagine that.
Be still your beating heart.
My next show is going to have hearts in it, but it's not sort of.
It won't be as
it's
central.
not about structures of the heart in the same way, although it's certainly about states of the heart. Thinking a lot about that show now because I'm counting down the months to it, and there's a lot of work to do. So I set up a photography workstation, because I have a ton of documentary photography to take for one project within the show. I'm going to try and create a little system for it so that I can, once I've set it up, I can work my way through a lot of stuff. Ooh, what beautiful negatives.
Yeah, well, I tried to keep that as much as I could.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you cut something out, you end up sort of destroying one to cut out the other. But I try as best I can when I'm cutting out to keep both, just in case, because you never know. And that's a fascinating little.
It really is.
Yeah, and this also has sort of a nice animation kind of a feeling to it too, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's all nicely cut out. Now I don't know what to do with it.
Well, now you should maybe look at something else.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And that's actually
just set that aside.
Yep. Well, and that's actually what I had in the back of my mind when I started. I just had forgotten that. So
yep.
Thank you, second brain. Because one thought that I had early on was that these word origin diagrams have a sort of insect-like feeling in there.
Yes.
And so I was thinking, oh, I could, this is cutting it all out as one piece, but like cut out smaller pieces and then sort of maybe extend this guy with them or something,
right?
Or put them on him or interrelate them in some way. So that might happen.
You could also be less polite with the words.
Well, yes. I mean, of course.
It's such a shock that I would suggest that to you.
Isn't it? This particular one is about the Proto-Indo-European word ten, T-E-N, which means to stretch, and how it ends up in hypotenuse, tetanus, temple, tantric, tensor, entertain, and tennis.
That's amazing. I was thinking about like tendon and...
Well, and tendon and tensor are very similar. Like a tendon is a stretch thing, right? So yeah. Oh, see, like Greek tynine is to stretch, and tetanos in Greek is a muscular spasm, so that's where tetanus comes from. And also coming from tynine to hypotynosa, stretching under.
Oh, really?
So that's where hypotenuse comes from.
That's amazing.
And tennis comes from tenere, which is Latin to hold, Middle French tenir to hold, Middle French tener to receive.
Right.
So.
Cherie writes spider webbish vibe.
Yes.
And Jane asks, what was the original diagram you're working with, Cal? I may have missed it in the beginning. Well, he cut the whole thing out, so it's all there. It's just Proto-Indo-European origins of English words.
Of English words, exactly, and how they found their way. It doesn't go into global languages, just ones that certain English words
end
came
in
from.
English words.
Yeah, exactly.
This actually influenced many, many languages.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how could it not, right?
Yeah.
So.
Susan writes, spider web made of word roots is a cool idea. And Jane adds, very cool. Yeah. I'm going to step away from the computer for just 2 minutes.
We'll see you back here shortly.
Bio break.
It happens. I wonder if I printed that one in. Yes, I did. In both black and white and white and black. That's kind of fun. So, just going to riff on something here. You never know whether it'll work out or not. That's fine. As it should be. I'm so looking forward to actually doing something in person again, because I was just thinking, wouldn't it be cool to see what you got working on in relationship to this, and just thinking, and I'll be able to do that at Gladstone. So you've heard me say how much I enjoy teaching online, which I absolutely do, but I do miss as well in person. So and they're printed slightly different sizes. That's too bad. Oh well. Okay. Unless I printed them in more than one direction. I don't think it would have done that. That would have been too useful. Okay. All right, where's my...
All right, what did I miss? What did I miss? Ooh, that looks exciting. What do you think?
It's fun.
Jane asks, where on earth did you find that?
Because Kim's replying a bit late, I'm not sure which.
Is it the insect that you mean,
Yeah,
or the the language?
The language things I just
Stuff.
found as a Google search. The images of insects I found on Pixabay, which is a royalty-free image sharing, and sometimes the images are very amateur and like, but sometimes they're really quite jaw-dropping, and this is one of those examples where it's just like, wow. And you're just letting anyone use that for whatever. That's very generous, and what an image.
Mm-hmm.
So.
The language one, right?
Yes,
okay,
yes.
So that was the Google search for etymology, right?
I was, I find the origin of language words interesting and how they've changed through history. But then I was thinking, but surely that's not a very visual thing. And then I thought, well, surely someone's done some sort of a diagram of how they trickle down like a family tree. So I just Googled etymology diagram, and these are what came up. So.
Well, because it's like family trees, right?
It totally is. That's what I thought. I thought, because of the nature of it, someone's got to have done family tree like versions of it.
Yeah. If you hear some quiet munching, I just got myself some walnuts, so I apologize if it's distracting.
Well, it just may be queuing them up for their own snack, which
maybe
nothing wrong with that.
I haven't had my lunch yet, so I needed a little something.
Of course.
Oh, I think I'm making the camera shake because my knees are bouncing.
That would be my cue.
Let's stop again. If I wasn't useful reading out the chat, I'm clearly a disruptive force. Otherwise,
you are a disruptive force, but a disruptive force for good.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good,
isn't it?
So I would like to mention a couple of things while we're having a peaceful time here. One is that I will be having an interview coming out on the Art Conversations with Lisa Jane Irvine podcast.
Thank you.
It's scheduled to release on November 24th, so I'll definitely be posting that in social media and also in my newsletter. So watch for that. And I also just posted late last night the fact that I'm jurying an exhibition, co-jurying an exhibition through Visual Arts Mississauga called Why Do You Create? The deadline to enter that show is December the 1st at midnight. And I'm co-jurying with Anis Karpenko, the executive director there, who is an MFA herself. And anyway, I just wanted to mention that to encourage you to visit the Visual Arts Mississauga website, or I've put a link in my bio on Instagram, links in my Facebook posts to the application form. But their website will also have more information under exhibitions and events. So, Yeah. Since
You
you're
know, if you're
producing all
lucky,
these...
Cherie might be submitting something to that. And for those of you
she did remind me that I was actually jurying.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this little chat. I have put that in the. I posted that in our Collage Jam Facebook group too, so you can.
That's
find
great. So you can find it right in the Virtual Collage Jam group. Then. Yeah. Awesome, Cherie. She says I'm on it. I'm delighted to hear it. Now, just so you know, in the jurying process, we intentionally don't look at names or anything. So it's all looking at the work in the context of everything that's been entered and picking from that. I like to, if I can, I like to jury 1 to 2 shows a year because it's quite a stimulating and interesting challenge. And thoughtful. It really is a lovely bug.
It is.
Cherie writes, thanks for that information. That makes me less nervous submitting. Oh, well, that's nice, Cherie. Yeah. So, yeah, you don't have to worry about, proper jurying. You don't have to worry about the jurors having preconceived notions about your work. They might, if artists who have a very signature style, their work might get recognized if the jurors are familiar with their work. But yeah, one of the reasons that it can be so unpredictable as to, in one juried show, a piece will get an award, and another juried show, it might not even get in, is because it relates to the jurors, but it also relates to, what were all the works that were submitted, and every time it's a completely different bag, very different collection of work. And yeah, my experiences during a lot of shows now have been very wide ranging in terms of experience levels and diversity of media and conceptual basis or not. And yeah, it just goes on and on. So that's why it's an interesting challenge. Susan writes, that bug has a certain steampunk look, especially the eyes.
It really does, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
nice observation.
I like that.
Yeah. Because I want to turn it into photo-based mixed media now, looking at it.
I will definitely send you the image.
Okay, good. I don't normally do a lot of bugs in my work that I can think of, but the scale of that and the colors are just wonderful, as well as the shapes. And I do, I am vein obsessed, so I love wings. As insect wings just can have marvelous vein patterns. Oh, he's getting the orange out. He's serious.
Yeah, does that connotes seriosity?
Yeah, that's what it connotates. Oh, gotta stop dancing my knees.
Yeah.
People are gonna get motion sick watching the camera feed.
We know how likely that is.
Well, I try. I do stop it, and
then
involuntarily starts up again.
2 seconds later.
I think it lasted more than a few seconds.
Well, the things we try to correct are often difficult, I notice.
Yep. They're like whack-a-mole, is my
Oh
experience.
yeah.
Right.
Like, I know that I have a constant struggle with posture, and I just, okay, sit up straight. Okay, got the right posture. And then like 2 seconds later, I tune in again for a second. Oh, you're completely slumped again. Like, come on. No wonder, like 99.7% of the time I'm in abysmal posture, and then the rest of the time I'm freaking out about it and trying to
correct it.
Exactly. So
Susan says, loving that blue transparency.
Yeah, and it's just
stunning, isn't it?
It's an image from a nature book that was of course I messed it up significantly, but it was really sort of ethereal picture of frosty bulrushes in a misty forest. Yeah, quite amazing.
Gorgeous.
But I just decided that I was getting too fussy with the little bit, so I'm just gonna like build a ground of some kind, and then see where that goes.
Something looser, chunkier.
Yeah, exactly. That maybe this stuff can ultimately play on.
Remember your first Collage Jam back this season? You were so fast and responsive. What did you do? Like 3 collages in the space of...
Reading between the lines. What the heck has happened to you, Cal?
No,
I know.
Other parts of your nature also have to come out.
No, right? I totally know, but I just thought I couldn't resist.
But I do think it was a reflection of your being refreshed.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? That it
I was very unfettered.
Freed you up and energized you at the same time.
I wonder how much of it has to do with the prompt too. Like sometimes a prompt leads you to a particular
way of thinking.
Working. Yeah, exactly. Like etymology is sort of a, I don't know. It just seems to get you more cerebral.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. And insects, I think, get you more detail oriented.
Yes, exactly. So there are two slowdown factures.
Yeah. So what were your chances, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The odds were stacked against me. I really must have a chat with my prompt generator.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Well, you can think about it for the next one, right? Well, actually, the next one will be the live event, right?
That's right.
I should say this is live, but the in-person event.
Yes. Because I wanted this upside down.
Keep forgetting to correct myself on that.
Let's offset it a little bit for.
Yeah. That torn edge is lovely. Anyone's been following my social media, I've been posting some digital/tradigital pieces that work with torn living edges, as I call them, because of the when I make them digital, they have a porous effect. So I'm quite entranced by this torn edge as a result of having worked closely with them.
You've developed a penchant for
yeah. Really, I mean, that's one of the things I love about teaching topics that I am myself keenly interested in, is that I developed this idea for my students to work on, and it's gotten me completely jazzed about making shapes and things with torn edges and working with them. Elaine writes, I listened to the podcast with Kal and also the one with the two of you. I really enjoyed both of them.
Oh, thank you, Elaine.
That's so lovely to hear, Elaine. Thanks so much for listening. She adds, As a home that houses two creatives, I admire your cooperation, accommodation, and support of one another. You make it look easy, but I know it isn't always so. Thank you again, Elaine, because that is really true. And I think it's one of the benefits of us having been together for such a long time is that we have at various stages negotiated different aspects and stages of it. I remember, for example, Kal and I worked closely together when we were at the publishing company, collaborating on publications, and even on our individual projects. We would collaborate in order to get better ideas more quickly, because the pace at which we were required to produce our work was, for a creative, pretty inhumane. But it was also exciting to collaborate. And anyway, so that went really well. And then I left the company and started up Eye to Eye Design, and Kal came and joined me a little later. And once he was working at home with me, it was a whole new negotiation. And
which was interesting, because you wouldn't expect much to change.
No, you'd think, geez, you're used to collaborating, you're used to living together. What's the big deal? But it was a big adjustment. And so we had to figure that out. I mean, I can only imagine what it's like for couples where, like Kal's parents, where his mother was mostly a stay-at-home mom. She did do teaching work at certain periods of their life together. And he worked a lot. He worked more than his full-time job, as I recall, right?
Yes.
Teaching at night and this and that. And then he retired. And that, oh my God, I can't even imagine that particular adjustment period. Susan writes, I second what Elaine says. Oh, thank you, Susan. I'm so glad you enjoyed them and that you had a chance to listen. I'm quite excited we just listened last night to the edited version of the interview I did solo, and I'm really excited about it. It's not often, in my experience, it hasn't been very often I've been able to talk at length about my work and where it comes from and how I got there and so on. And it was a real pleasure.
I think something that comes up a lot, which is kind of annoying as artists, is lots of people have a superficial interest. So it really behooves you to have like a really good elevator speech thing, like an answer for someone who finds artists interesting, but not really. And so,
yes, interesting, but to a point.
But to a point, exactly.
Yeah.
And which is fair, not
totally.
Everyone is an artist, right? So, but to be able to sort of delve into one's motives and so on a little more deeply for an audience that is interested in that is a really interesting opportunity. Do you agree?
Yes, it is, definitely. And obviously more prominent artists get more opportunities to do that, and some of them don't enjoy it at all, but I enjoy a good conversation. So it was a pleasure. Someone has suggested putting a link in the description here to the podcast. So I'm going to put the name of the podcast. I can't put a link in the. Oh, we can do it in the description. Yes, we will put it in the description underneath the video after it's posted when the live stream's over.
And you could.
But I'll just put the name of it here.
Podcast, exactly, and the podcast is on just about a lot of major podcast
So
channels.
including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and I forget what the Google probably
Google.
it's on. Is it
Google
Google Play?
I think
or-
it's called Google Podcast, but
Okay.
I'm not positive.
So there's the title. And I'll just, and you can just Google Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever makes sense for you, or just Google the name of the podcast and add the word podcast in, and you'll find it. And just pick the platform that makes sense for you. I will get this typed up. There we go. Got it up. But thanks for that suggestion, Susan. We will do that. That's looking exciting. Those negative shapes really are exciting, aren't they?
Yeah, they totally are.
It's fun because the intervals, it's not
they're not regular.
They're not regular. The height of the rectangles you cut out are different. They're spaced differently. It's really lovely. Ricky writes, so not everyone is an artist? Working with values makes me think I've reached my level of incompetence, but I'll continue the struggle. Smile. That's the hallmark of an artist right there, Ricky.
That's right.
You continue the struggle even though it's hard, because at some level that struggle is, you can feel yourself growing, and there's joy in the growing even though the struggle is real.
And value is something a lot of people struggle with, and it is also really foundational.
Yeah,
so
it's key. That's why I'm saying lighting is so important with portrait and figure, because good lighting gives you a range of values on the forms of the human, and poor lighting gives you very little range of values. And so it makes it very difficult to parse out what's going on form-wise. Values are how we understand form. Actually, there's a new movie coming out this month, directed and possibly written by Kenneth Branagh, called Belfast. And it's about his childhood experiences. It's not a documentary. It's a drama with a lot of humor in it, apparently. But it's about his experiences growing up in Belfast when the Troubles began in earnest, when he was about 9 years old, and the violence, sectarian violence, became untenable for people, and in sharp contrast to the beautiful, harmonious community he was experiencing as a child. And anyway, it seems to be filmed in black and white, and he's like the great black and white films of 70 years ago or whatever. He's really treated it like an art form, and just God, some of the shots I saw in the
trailer.
I've been watching trailers and other supplementary things, so I've seen a number of clips, and really, really stunning. And it's because it's mastery of values, among other things. So yeah, Judi Dench is in it. Kieran Hines is in it, who's an amazing actor. I'm not familiar with the young woman who plays his mother. The little boy who plays him as a child is extraordinary. Jamie Dornan plays his father as a young man, obviously. Yeah, Kieran Hines and Judi Dench are the grandparents. And what a pairing. And Kenneth Branagh is a hell of a director. So, yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Ricky asks, how important is composition? Well, it's understanding values is a crucial part of composition.
Yes,
Ricky. So it's one of the elements of composition.
Yeah, because composition is about where do you put things in a piece of artwork.
Relationships between elements in your piece.
Yes, exactly. And
there are many relationships possible, though.
Size and color and direction and texture and so on.
Yeah.
But value contrast, if value contrast is very low, you can have something that would be very strong and have it be very subtle.
But but be very subtle. So as with everything in art, you don't always want a wide value range or high value contrast. But the less experienced you are, the more important it is to aim for that. But just bear in mind that artworks can be successful specifically going against that and making it much more subtle. Nellie writes, quote, value is how we understand form, end quote. That's a statement that should be documented, Kim. Thanks, Nellie.
And what if you think about something, anything, we'll use a face because faces are coming up a lot in your course. But if the face is in darkness with only a tiny bit of light, there will be a very narrow range of values from like black to very, very dark gray, and you'll just be able to make it out. And so a face is normally very powerful, but if the value contrasts are that low, then it's not going to be as powerful. Whereas if you have a very dark side of the side of the face and a very light side of the face, dark shadow beside the nose, if you squint at this one, for instance, you will see that one half of the face is very similar. This is a shot Kim did of me. I'll bring it up closer to the camera. I'll try not to get there. But you can see one side is full of light subtleties and one side is full of dark subtleties. But we have a real sense that there is light coming from one side. Which allows us to understand the form.
And we feel forms most where there's the most range.
Exactly, from light to dark.
Yeah. That was a funny little portrait interlude there, but anyway.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I just thought I was looking at that while Kal was talking and thinking, well, this is sort of illustrating what we're talking about a bit. Ooh. This is getting interesting.
So now I have the challenge of applying glue to very skinny insect legs, but at least the paper I cut it out of, I printed it on slightly better than usual paper, so it
will withstand.
Yeah,
it won't just rip apart.
And if it were magazine paper, it would curl up upon itself very quickly and difficult. But this is kind of premium bond paper, so it's curling a little bit, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, so it's either 28 pound or 32 pound paper. Has a bit of body to it. It's because of the water content of the glue stick. If it's thin paper, it becomes saturated with the moisture very quickly. So sometimes it can be beneficial to photocopy magazine images just to get it on sturdier
it on
paper
sturdier
if it's
paper,
very thin
exactly.
paper. Or
Apparently-
scan and print it, whatever.
Yeah, apparently I didn't get all the way down to the end of the leg here.
Oh, well, that's easy to fix. Ricky says, we feel forms most when there's a big range from light to dark. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. When there's a precipitous change from light to dark, so that there isn't much in between, then that tells you that you're sort of falling off a cliff in terms of form. So you sometimes see that at a nose in lighting like that portrait of Kal.
And I have a friend, an African American friend named Eric, who's a photographer, and he said the biggest challenge.
Okay, first of all, I know Eric hates that
Oh, does he hate that term?
terminology. He's a Jamaican Canadian.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
He's
He
not
says-
African American.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, the challenge with light faces is getting shadow areas into them, and vice versa, getting enough light into darker
darker skins. Yeah.
pigmented faces. Exactly.
Absolutely. And
So-
he was masterful at he's masterful at that. I remember some of the photographs he shared with us of dark-skinned figure and portrait that were just,
jaw-dropping.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the digital me wants to see that layered on semi-transparently.
Transparently, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Not one of your options in this case.
No,
though.
no. And in fact, one of the many reasons to love working digitally is how it gives you so many options and it allows you to undo things.
Yeah.
But conversely, one of the things that's great about not working digitally is that it doesn't.
It forces you
to just commit to things and do things. And so that can be sometimes where am I going with this?
I don't know. It looked promising earlier, but
Yeah.
it was higher
Well,
up.
yeah, no, I am thinking higher up is better. But
Yeah.
needs to. Okay, you know what? Sorry, just talking to myself, guys.
It's a crucial part of the artistic process. We could do
Exactly.
a whole workshop just on that.
We
Self-talk while making.
Yes. Be sure you're chatting to yourself. Like that, and that's there. Okay, so sometimes when I figure out where I want to put something, I will just take note of a particular place mentally, like, okay, it's like a less than a quarter an inch down and maybe about a quarter of an inch in that area, and that will hopefully, and that is that one, right? The second one down. Okay, just so that
find a spot that's specific enough. It gives you specific enough information, visual information, that you can recreate it pretty accurately. And kind of hold that mental image in your head. Cherie writes, talk all you want, but don't forget to listen to yourself. Yes. Excellent point, Cherie. was just thinking that your forearms and hands are looking very vascular right now. And if we just thinking about our conversation about lighting, if we adjusted the lighting, we could make that look. We could really start to understand those forms. They'd become vivid. With a little side lighting. Definitely getting a complex networks feeling from this bit.
No, that is a good thing, I think.
Oh, I should point out it is 3:31.
Wow. I was just beginning to think, okay, it's actually starting to cook. Maybe I'll get close to being finished, and that was the kiss of death. just even having that thought.
Did you jinx it?
I did. I must have obviously jinxed it. So there you go. So I'm looking forward, guys, to seeing what you guys post in our Collage Jam Facebook page.
Always.
If you're new to Virtual Collage Jam, please feel free to request to join. You only have to do that the first time at Kal Honey Art. 3 words, Kal, K-A-L, Honey, H-O-N-E-Y, Art. That's my artist page, and then you'll find a Virtual Collage Jam group under groups, and request to join, and then you can post your collages.
You can see others. You can comment
on other people's. So it's actually a really lovely place to share our creativity.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
it is a great group.
Yeah. So
Elaine has to run. She says thanks
Thank
to
you,
us
Elaine.
and
It's
to
been
everyone
lovely.
else for the company, the conversation, and the laughs. She really enjoyed her time connecting with everyone online. So nice to see you here.
I really have. It's been great.
Okay. So you're going to try and do something with one of those before
I think maybe I shouldn't, but I'll just I'll flip down to say goodbye in a second.
Yeah.
But first of all, I'll hold it a little closer.
Sure.
Not that close because obviously, because it goes the wrong way for my view. It's a little bit of a trick. There we go.
Do what you need to do. That's fine.
So I'm thinking that something like from these black and white imagery, which is from clip art, maybe the dragonfly as well, since this is a dragonfly, or maybe one of its prey, maybe up in this, just to gently, and I like having this quiet area up here, but to animate it gently, maybe up here, I'm not even sure where, down the side. I kind of like this interaction of the spidery legs and the diagrammatical links, and then this echo of them that's not literal, but kind of fun. So, but beyond that, not sure. So,
well then,
yeah.
Do you want to flip the camera down for a face?
I will.
A little FaceTime. Jane says, "I like it a lot, Kal. Your stuff is so cool."
Oh, bless you.
Isn't
Jane.
that nice? I agree, Jane. You're getting funny views of our ceiling and
yeah, sorry guys.
And they're getting a fabulous view of all of not even all of my father's ties. Maybe you can angle it slightly, like pull it over this way a bit.
There we go. Yeah. So thank you again so much, guys, for joining us. It's been lots of fun.
It has.
Always fun collaging with you. And yeah. And I can hardly wait to be in person in 2 weeks. 2 weeks today at Gladstone.
Amazing.
Yeah. It just doesn't even feel real saying that.
Yeah.
It's been long enough that it feels very strange, but it'll be wonderful. So
watch your inboxes.
Yep.
Today.
I
Will it be tonight
I suspect
or
it will be tonight or tomorrow.
Okay.
Is my guess.
Yeah.
I want to schedule the stream so that I can have a link to that for you. So so I have just a little bit of stuff to tidy up. So
yeah.
And make sure I get approvals from Gladstone for that I've said everything properly, so that we're
because we're partnering up with the Gladstone, so
we're doing a collab,
which is fantastic.
Exactly.
I think that's our first partnership, isn't it? It's wonderful. So many thanks to Lee for going along with that idea. Getting lots of wonderful comments.
In fact, we're going to be the first use of their studio. In fact, they have an artist in residence who may even be working while we're doing our. But this will be the first sort of teaching opportunity they'll be using the space for, which is kind of great. So we're helping them get that underway. So yeah. So thank you so much, guys, and see you on Facebook, and maybe see you in a couple of weeks at the Gladstone or from the Gladstone.
Exactly.
Yeah. You want to say goodbye, Kim?
Goodbye, Kim. I just couldn't resist. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I've been hanging out with you for too long. Thanks so much, everybody.
Yeah,
it's been so much fun being with you.
So take care. Stay safe. Keep on collaging.